Hello everyone! In this lecture, we will learn how to move the player using the new input system and touch controls. To start, go to the scripts folder, create a C# script. I will call it player controls. Open it. The first step is to add the input system enhanced touch namespace. As we said in the previous lecture, we need to enable enhanced touch. We do it in the onEnable function. Remember, that function is called whenever the object is enabled. Then we disable it in the onDisable function. That happens when the object is disabled, destroyed, and so on. Next, we need to receive inputs in the update function. For this game, we need just one finger. The best option is to receive inputs just from the first finger that touches the screen. It doesn't matter which one physically, just that it is the first one. So in the if statement, we write touch.fingers with index 0. Index 0 means the first finger. You will notice one error. This is because this touch structure can be used from multiple namespaces. So we need to specify which namespace to use. We can right-click on the touch and open Quick Actions. You can see that we can use two namespaces, UnityEngine.touch and UnityEngine.enhancedTouch. We need to use Enhanced Touch. Now, at the top of the script, you should see that every time we use touch, it is from the Enhanced Touch namespace. Now we can continue with the if statement. We need to check if the first finger is active, which means that it touches the screen. Then we can use touch to get the first active touch from the active touches array. We know that this active touch will come from the first finger on the screen because of the if statement. From active touch, we need to get a position. First, we use vector 3 to store the screen position of the touch. Since this is a screen position, we need to convert it to a world position. Screen position is a position on the screen. It's different from the world position. The world position is the actual position in the scene and game. That is what we need. For conversion, we use the main camera. The main camera has the function screen to world point. So we give it a screen position, convert it into a world position, and then store it again in the touch position variable. We can also store the main camera in a variable for better performance. Let's create a new camera variable. In the start, let's set the main camera to camera.main. Now we can use the main camera variable in the code. Then we can set the position of the player using the new vector 3. For x, we use touchPosition.x and touchPosition.y for the y position. Position on z-axis doesn't matter, it just needs to be in front of the camera. I will set it to 0. Let's try this. In Unity, select the player and add the player controls script. Press play. I can click on the spaceship and move it across the screen. However, if I click somewhere on the screen, the spaceship will teleport to that position. This is not the behavior we need. Idea is that the player doesn't need to click on the spaceship to move it. The player should be able to click anywhere on the screen and move the spaceship from its position. In that way, the player has more visibility and control over the screen. For example, if I click here and the spaceship is here, and I move the finger down, I want that spaceship also goes down from its position. To implement that behavior, we need to calculate the distance between the touch position and the spaceship. Let's go back to the script. Create vector 3 offset that we will use as a distance from the touch to the spaceship. As you know from the previous lecture, touch has phases. If we just touched the screen, at that frame touch phase is began. So let's check if the phase of the first active touch is began. Notice there is an error. We also need to specify namespace for the touch phase. We use the input system.touch phase namespace. Then, to calculate offset, we use a bit of vector math. Offset is equal to the touch position minus the position of the spaceship, and that is transform.position. This will give us the distance we need. Then we can check if the phase is equal to moved. That means if the player moves the finger on the screen. Of course, then we need to move the spaceship, so we can use this code with one modification. Subtract offset x from the x coordinate and offset y from the y coordinate. There is a phase when the player is touching the screen and is not moving the finger. So if the phase is stationary, then do the same thing. Set position with offset. And that is all we need to code. Let's try it. First, let's try clicking on the spaceship. That works fine. Then click anywhere on the screen and try to move the spaceship. You can see that the spaceship follows the touch correctly. This is what we wanted. Of course, there is a possibility to go off the screen. In the next lecture, we will address that situation. See you there.